Then President of the Philippines, ROA Duterte, signed the RCEP agreement and accordingly submitted it to the Senate for ratification on September the 2nd, 2021.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Senior Deputy Majority Leader Ferdinand Alexander Marcos for his sponsorship speech.
The Senior Deputy Majority Leader, Ferdinand Marcos, is recognized. Please proceed.
The Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I rise with utmost honor and privilege to sponsor House Resolution number 728, expressing the full support of the House of Representatives for the immediate ratification of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or RCEP. From the foundational activities of the RCEP in 2012 up until its formal inception at the ASEAN Virtual Summit, hosted by Vietnam on November the 15th, 2020, its unwavering objectives revolved around the establishment of a mutually beneficial economic multilateral framework in the Asia-Pacific region. RCEP constantly aims to create a liberal and competitive investment environment in this mega trade bloc, facilitate trade in goods through the progressive elimination of tariff barriers, and eliminate restrictions and discriminatory measures with regard to trades and services. On the 1st of January 2022, the RCEP agreement entered into by Australia, Brunei, Darussalam, Cambodia, China, Japan, Laos, New Zealand, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam, paving the way for the creation of the world's largest free trade area. For the Philippines, the Senate is yet to concur in the ratification of the RCEP agreement. The RCEP agreement is a manifestation of the member countries' resolve to hasten the opening of markets, reinforce regional economic integration, commit to an inclusive and rules-based multilateral trading system, and most importantly, contribute to the world efforts of salvaging plummeting economies due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Philippines, consistent with its constitutional mandate to pursue a trade policy that utilizes all forms of and arrangements of exchange on the basis of equality and reciprocity, has long been a signatory to various free trade agreements, including the 2010 ASEAN Trade in Goods Agreement, Philippines-Japan Economic Partnership Agreement, and the Philippines-European Free Trade Association Free Trade Agreement. Even with the existing bilateral trade agreements that the Philippines has fostered with the ASEAN and RCEP member countries, the RCEP agreement was simultaneously launched to complement the country's bilateral agreements and resolve the negative impacts of the overlapping FTAs with regard to the levels of commitment for tariff reduction and trade rules. The RCEP's synchronous operation with bilateral FTAs definitely deepens the economic integration of its member countries. In the long run, this integration will strengthen the economic and equitable growth and development of each RCEP member country as RCEP continuously fine-tunes the mutually advantageous rules on trade, investment, and regional supply chains. Foreseeing the economic opportunities that we can gain through the agreement and in accordance with the 1987 Constitution, then President of the Philippines, ROA Duterte, signed the RCEP agreement and accordingly submitted it to the Senate for ratification on September the 2nd, 2021. Upon submission of the signed RCEP agreement to the Senate, majority of our government agencies manifested their concurrence for its ratification during the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations hearings conducted during the last quarter of 2021. As such, we are now a step away from the ratification of the RCEP agreement. In this present era of globalization, digitalization, and regional cooperation, it is the duty of our government to rebalance the economic advantages we can gain vis-a-vis the disadvantages and risks that we may have to live through should we decide to defer accession to or join the RCEP. As a preview to the beneficial and favorable prospect of our formal accession to the RCEP is the recent successful and productive state visits to Singapore, Indonesia, and China of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. The local business leaders in these ASEAN countries have pledged several investments totaling to billions of pesos worth of foreign direct investments. These foreign direct investments will surely expand the economic opportunities of the Philippines by reinforcing our foreign ties and will prop unlock job opportunities that can counter the country's unemployment and poverty problems. My dear colleagues, now is the best time to take on the challenge and consider House Resolution number 728, the world trade's impetus towards globalization, digitalization, and borderless trade will not stop nor regress for us. This representation now humbly calls upon all of you, the esteemed members of this august chamber, to unitedly move for the adoption of this resolution expressing the full support of the House of Representatives for the immediate ratification of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. Maraming salamat po.
Alam naman po natin yung nangyari na pinagbumukha, no, na hanggang ngayon pinagbumukha na mga maka-RCEP na wala o halos walang disbentahe ang pagpasok ng Pilipinas sa tratado at mas malaki ang magiging pakinabang ng bansa sa pagsali sa RCEP. Samantalang buo at matibay ang paninindigan ng may, sinabi ko nga kanina, 130 organizations sa sektor ng agrikultura laban sa RCEP at nananawagang i-reject ito, no, ng both houses, ng Senado at sa atin mismo. Dahil sa magiging mapaminsalang epekto nito sa lokal na agrikultura, mga industriya at buong ekonomiya. Sinasabi ng mga pro-RCEP na hindi kasama sa tariff liberalization sa ilalim ng RCEP ang highly sensitive agricultural products gaya ng bigas, swine meat, poultry meat, patatas, sibuyas, bawang, repolyo, asukal at carrots. Magbibigay lang umano ng dagdag na preferential arrangement sa 33 agricultural tariff lines for Australia, New Zealand, China at Korea kumpara sa umiiral na ASEAN plus 1 FTAs. Ang nasabing 33 tariff lines ay katumbas ng 15 products na hindi naman daw makakaapekto o banta sa mga lokal na produkto. Kabilang dito ang fish fillet, frozen mackerel, celery, sausages, olives, spinach, my God, olive oil, live swine, live chicken, black pepper, palm nuts and kernels, preserved sweet corn, chili and other capers, preserved onions, corns and feeds for primates, no? Yan lang po, no, hindi makakaapekto. Pero nakita nyo naman yung mga agricultural products natin kung gaano siya bumabagsak ngayon, gaano ang mga presyo niya, no? Na maliit ang farm gate price, binibili ng maliit sa mga lokal na magsasaka, pero binibenta ng napakamahal, no, sa mga merkado. Naninindigan ng mga stakeholders na walang naganap na makabuluhang konsultasyon, lalo na sa mga sektor na pinakatinatamaan ng RCEP. Sa huli, ang China ang pinakatatabo sa RCEP. Para mas mapakinabangan pa nito ang pagpasok ng Pilipinas sa RCEP, magtatayo ang Chinese Ministry of Commerce ng demonstration zones for innovative economic and trade development sa Indonesia at Pilipinas. Itinulak pa ng RCEP ang pakikipagkalakalan ng China sa mga bansa sa ASEAN na lumaki pa ng 15% year-on-year sa 6.52 trillion yuan or $970 billion noong 2022. So yun po ang mga epekto. Meron pa pong isa na mahalaga na usapin dyan. Yung nakikita pa po natin na epekto, yung usapin hinggil sa Investor State Dispute Settlement or ISDS na sinasabi. Binibigyang pahintulot ng RCEP ang mga namumuhunan na ihabla ang mga gobyerno ng mga bansa. So, yun po, no, hindi handa ang Pilipinas. May ilang mga international na mga treaties, kasunduan. Ilan ng mga ito na ituturing na building blocks umano sa pagpasok ng mga FTAs na maaari sanang gamitin din ng gobyerno ng Pilipinas para sa mga pagkakataong ito. Meron namang mga ganito, Hague Choice of Court Convention, UN Convention on Contracts for the International Sale of Goods, Convention on the Recognition and Enforcement of Foreign Judgment in Civil and Commercial Matters, Convention on the Use of Electronic Communication in International Contracts, Hague Evidence Convention. Di katulad ng Pilipinas, ang ibang bansa kabilang sa ASEAN kasama ang mga bansang Australia, New Zealand, China, South Korea at Japan ay pumirma na sa mga tratadong ito. Magagamit sana ito ng Pilipinas di lang sa RCEP kundi sa ibang FTAs, no, na pinasok nito. So in short, Mr. Speaker, napakarami pong issue pa nitong RCEP. At hindi po ito dapat minamadali at pinag-aaralan ng mabuti, lalong-lalo na yung mga stakeholders na maapektuhan nito. Ang mga manggagawa at yung magsasaka natin, sila po kasi talaga, no, in the face of pagkakaroon ng mga ganitong trade agreements, sila po talaga ang tumatamasa ng matinding epekto nito sa baba na nagdudulot ng matinding kahirapan sa atin. Kaya yun, Mr. Speaker, that's my manifestation. Maraming salamat po.